Hi. So, we're back. We're back at home. We're back with my camera. And of course, we're back with Larry. Oh, how I missed Larry. I am officially back in school, and that means that I finally realized that setting a deadline for myself to upload a video every Monday was a very bad idea. But you know what? So, in my free time, I actually really enjoy reading, which, this is actually not very common knowledge, but reading is actually a very common hobby, and when people say that they enjoy reading like it's a super special character trait, it drives me up the wall. So yes, I do enjoy reading. But, as you might have guessed, I don't read the same books as I always did. My taste has evolved over time, which of course brings us here and now. What is this video about? Well, I am glad you asked. I want to talk about the evolution of my taste in books. How does 6-year-old Chloe's opinion differ from 17-year-old Chloe's opinion? Well, you're about to find out. Let me just make sure my laptop isn't in frame. It barely is. I'm not gonna retake that. It's fine. I'm gonna just move this a little out of the way. Okay. Alright, so yeah, here we go. I don't remember everything I read when I was like 6 to 8 years old because I was between 6 and 8 years old, so my memory's a bit fuzzy. But 2 series stand out to me in particular, and those series would be the Magic Treehouse books and the Rainbow Magic books. I never read the entirety of either series because there are, gosh, I think there are roughly 1 million books in each series. Special shout out to Chloe the Topaz Fairy. She was my favorite. It's because we had the same name, I'm not sure if you noticed. As I got a little older, let's put it at roughly 9 years old now, I was still interested in magic, but I wanted something a bit more mature, something with a bit of a darker thing. Yeah, it's Harry Potter. It's Harry Potter. When I was younger, fun fact, I really wanted to be a Hufflepuff, but I took the Pottermore quiz and I got Slytherin. So I made multiple new accounts, and every time I tried to retake the quiz, I always got Slytherin. So I guess I'm a Slytherin now. Anywho, moving on to ages 10 through 12. I'm a big horror fan, as you know, and ever since I was little, I sort of enjoyed that. I would tell ghost stories with my friends or read urban legends online. At this age, I found something a lot more interesting. The Goosebumps series. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The series is so good. If I ever get a large chunk of time that I have nothing much to do, I honestly think that I'm gonna sit down and just read every book in this series. That's how good it is, to this day. I actually couldn't find my favorite book of the series, which was about this colorless world, and one girl escaped from it, and she wore makeup to hide the fact that she was black and white instead of in color, like a person. And I couldn't find it when I was Googling it. The only thing that ever came up was Say Cheese and Die, because they used a camera to snap you to the other world. If you know which book I'm talking about, please leave it in the comments, because I looked for this forever and just could not find it. So moving on to that age. Age 13 was really weird, and I didn't read as much as I'd like to. I was going through some stuff. Middle school, am I right? I knew that I was big into horror, and I explored that when I could, but I couldn't find anything that much appealed to me. I read some Stephen King, but I never finished a book because I was 13 and my attention span was shorter than that of a mayfly. And the books go on forever. But I couldn't think of anything else, so age 13 is dedicated to this picture of me reading Stephen King on a beach at 13 years old. At around 14 years old, I was still big into horror, but I drifted more towards the online urban legends rather than novels or novelettes. However, it was roughly this time in my life that I really got into comics. I'd always been a big fan of Batman the Animated Series, but it was at this point that I sat down and I read a lot of the early comics. And when I say early, I mean going back to Detective Comics number 27. I did not play when it came to Batman comics. It was very serious business. I also read through this series, Sandman Mystery Theater, which was really good. I highly recommend it. It is very dark. Just be warned, but it's good. You should read it. And I also think there might be other Sandman Mystery Theater comics. I only found these 2 books when I was poking around, but who Who knows, man? Leave in the comments or whatever, or don't. It's fine. I don't mean to put pressure on you. When I was 15, I found that I actually really liked classical literature. I read through Wuthering Heights and I started Sherlock Holmes. I say I started Sherlock Holmes because I didn't actually get around to finishing it until this past summer. Yikes. But that same year, I had an epiphany. I liked classical literature. I liked horror. Surely I could combine the two. And since then, that is pretty much the only thing I've read for the past 2 years. Phantom of the Opera, Dracula, Macbeth, a lot of Edgar Allan Poe. Right now, I'm reading the entire works of H.P. Lovecraft. And considering that I read at the pace of a narcoleptic turtle, I'll probably finish the book, hopefully sometime before I keel over and die, but like no promises. But anyway, that's basically the timeline of my taste in books. If you want to, again, no pressure, this is totally optional, leave a book recommendation down for me in the comments. I may or may not actually take it, but like, I'd appreciate it. And also, if you want, tell me what books you like to read. And I don't care, by the way, if they're considered great works of literature or if it's a comic book you found at the store. If you enjoyed reading it, that's what matters. Don't buy into this whole, ooh, I read Kierkegaard and that's, oh, I don't read your books. That's like, literally just read what you want. It's a hobby. Shoo. Thanks for watching. Bye.